I said, I'm not gonna meet with you guys unless we're gonna push my gun bill. And they called me back, and I just held my guns, and then I was cut out of the process. And so we watched as we created this tidal wave in 2009, and in 2010 during the session, the NRA came in and jumped on our wave and rode it to the finish line. But we got a gun bill this year. You know, if somebody would have told me in 2008, or 2008 when I was running, or 2009, that the Democrats would pass a gun bill that makes Iowa a shall-issue state, I would have laughed at them. I think everybody in this room would have. But that shows you what happens if you can start a movement. And that's very similar to what we are seeing happening right now all across the state. And, you know, whether it's the Tea Parties, or whether it's Chad standing up and running, or Dave Funk, or George Eichhorn, or Joan Aisla, or Roger Billings, who's here tonight too, or Glenn Massey, who's running for my seat, you know, this is a movement that's starting all across the state. And we have to sustain this. And the way that's going to happen is by people like you sitting and listening to this. Now, what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit here and then go home and watch The Simpsons like Bill said? Or are you guys going to get up out of here and get involved? You know, that's what we had to do with our gun bill, and it was a wave that we created. Well, we can create that same wave here tonight. Everybody can leave here and go talk to somebody that they know. Everybody can leave here and say, you know what, I heard this crazy bald guy that ran for office that didn't have a chance and won running on these conservative wing-nut principles. And you could say, you know, I really like this event that we were at, so you could have an event too. You could call 10 of your friends. You know, I may not live in your district, but I tell everybody this, because I traveled the whole state this past year and spoke on the marriage issue. I'll adopt you if you adopt me.
Georgia adopts you.
I may not represent your district, but I promise I will represent these values that I believe you hold dear also. And it's going to take you guys helping people like me, and people like Chad, and people like Dave, and George, and Roger, and Joan, and everybody else that's running across the country, the state that's conservatives. And Glenn, who's really important and dear to my heart because he's running for my seat now. And it's going to take you guys going out and doing this. You know, we can't do it on our own. It's going to take your shoes, it's going to take your pocketbooks, it's going to take your checkbooks, and it's going to take your mouth, spreading the word. You know, we can't do this alone. You know, I've sacrificed a lot. These people will sacrifice a lot. You know, I owned a small business when I started running for office. I sold that business in October because I had been targeted by the liberals, and I had lost, my business suffered. So I sold it so my employees wouldn't suffer. You know, this comes at a price. You guys have got to join us and help us. You know, I'm Tim Gill's #1 target in Iowa this year. Does anybody know who Tim Gill is? This, I'll finish it on this. Tim Gill is a billionaire philanthropist from Colorado who writes checks to candidates, much like myself and the guys, against people that are running, against people like me. I'm trying to get it out there. And he sold, has anybody heard of Quark software? Okay, it's much like a Photoshop or a Adobe. It's a graphic design software. He sold that for billions of dollars. And he is committed to working against conservative candidates throughout the state of Iowa, throughout the country. You know, he's the guy that targeted Danny Carroll and helped bring Danny Carroll down. And he did it under the radar, a few $1,000s at a time. He's targeting me this year because of my stance on marriage. And I'm sure he'll be targeting other key races in the state. My race is probably going to be one of the most high-profile races in the state for legislative races because we are polar opposites. I mean, my opponent, I heard out of her mouth say that when they were debating the Healthy Kids Act, she said, kids are obese, parents aren't doing their jobs, we have to do it for them. I'm the opposite of that. I believe in the Constitution, parents' rights, local control. I'm going to fight for conservative values, but it's going to take you guys writing checks to my campaign to offset Tim Gill, because I don't have a Tim Gill in my life. I have you guys. And it's going to, you know, at $25, $50, $100, $1,000 at a time, it takes a lot to make up for the $1 million that she's going to raise. So I ask everybody in this room, I know you paid to get in here, but if you have some extra money in your pocketbook, if you have some extra money in your bank account, write us a check as you leave. You know, I promise you I'm going to represent you. I promise that I will stand on these core principles that I ran on. I promise that I will keep my eyes on the target and pushing forward. Thank you very much.